I mean, crypto is a Ponzi scheme. You just have to be the right side of the Ponzi scheme. So is the bond market. So are the stocks market. Everything's a Ponzi. You just have to choose your Ponzi.
But what stood out to me the most is stocks are largely ignoring the same macro risk, but crypto is reacting to it severely. And it's got me thinking, I think traders or investors are starting to price in more of a rate hike.
You have Ethereum on the other hand. Ethereum is like, you know that 6 out of 10 with like potential to be a 10, bro. But she's just looking raggedy every day. But strategy sell like a large chunk of their Bitcoin holdings. We are finished, bro.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip.
In this week's episode, we'll be talking about what the hell is going on with Bitcoin because it now sits at $62,000 with over $400 billion lost in market value alone, not including the wider things that have been happening within crypto. We'll also be talking about some of the crypto darlings in the altcoin market that have also seen a lot of big gains wiped out. We also have to talk about Charles, the founder of Cardano, and what the future holds, because it's not looking good, bruv. And finally, what happens to MicroStrategy and Bitcoin if MicroStrategy is forced to sell, because they're currently sitting under what they purchased at, which is never a good sign. But before we get into any of that, what we have to do is we have to talk to our friends, our DGen friends, and find out their perspective with some crypto confessions. Having a girlfriend during a market crash is wild. I'm down $80,000. She's down for shopping. We are not on the same page. What do you make of that?
Bro, at the end of the day, she lives in a fairy tale world, bro. A fairy tale world where it doesn't matter about your gains or your losses. All that matters is if she's going to get steak tonight, or is she going to be able to go Pilates on the weekend, or whatever it is. Like, am I going to be able to do yoga? Bro, while you're thinking about the struggles of the market and the fact that you're down 80 bags, she's thinking, is £50 too much to get my eyelashes done? All I'm saying is, bro, you should have never expected her to understand if you didn't explain. Yeah, I don't know, bro. This is a common theme, but I would say I feel bad for you, but this is just life, bro.
You're right, bro. Absolutely, it is life, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a girlfriend, you're going to have a wife. Unless you want to be single. The only solution to this is to literally break up with all your things and go live in a small flat where you literally have a PlayStation 5, your computer system, so you can trade, and a mattress on the floor. That's all a man needs. And obviously food. So obviously you need to survive out here. But I mean, the only time people usually have girlfriends is during the top of the market. Where, like, it's a bull market, everyone's happy. But when it's bear market, fam, you can't afford to have a girlfriend, fam. Because you might want to get Gucci or Chanel bag and you're thinking, shit, I'm not going to cover rent this month. So it's like, yeah, no surprise there at all. Like, what are you thinking? Like, this is a no-brainer confession, because, like, yeah, like, it's literally, even in regular market, traditional market, where, like, we have inflation stricken every household's budget. People that are single are thinking, yeah, let me go get a girlfriend. They're not thinking that. People that have a girlfriend thinking, I'm going to have to dump this thing, because, bro, can't afford this. So it's like, took us on crypto when, like, everything's volatile. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer, fam.
Yeah, I think you need to focus on yourself, number one. Number two, like, if you're in crypto full-time and that's your full-time income, then, yeah, you're cooked, because making money in a down market is very, very difficult, and it's not made easier when that money is being depleted even more with the additional liability of your girl. So yeah, you either have to get rid of the girl, or you need to make more money. But yeah, try and come up with a way to make money outside of crypto, and then just treat crypto as your investments for, the long-term future, and don't even touch that. So yeah, that would probably be my 2 cents on it. But welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I am joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Dedi. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on audio platforms, don't forget to leave and if you're listening on audio platforms, don't forget to leave a review, because it helps us create new episodes. And if it is your first time listening, myself and my co-hosts are 3 crypto investors and traders who like to give their perspective on the market, what's happening, and what things are going on in order to give you the best edge in your crypto trading or investing journey. So with that being said, let's not waste any time, because Bitcoin is at $62,000. We were just talking before we set things up, and Rick said the last time he saw Bitcoin was at $72,000. Now, it's been in free fall. I will get into what the possible reasons are, what's happening, and what the results have been. But let me just put a little bit of perspective on what's going on. So, if we look at the random market, $500 billion has been wiped out from the crypto market in just 25 days. Bitcoin alone has lost $400 billion and touched $61,000. So if you're in the crypto market and you bought obviously near the top, you'll probably be like minus 50% right now, which is never a good sign. And we have been saying it for a while that we are in a bear market, despite holding up quite well in prior weeks. As they say, chickens comes to roost, or whatever that saying is. I want to get your perspective. What do you think has led to the cascade down? We have mentioned that institutions have been selling in the past few weeks, and maybe they knew something we didn't, and maybe that's what the result is now. But what's your perspective?
Boy, I think, the surprise, it took me by surprise crazy. Like you said, bro, I haven't looked at the market for probably 2 days, and I'm looking at it now, and $1.5 billion in crypto longs liquidated, bro. And like you said, 400 mil in Bitcoin. I feel like, maybe we were in a bull trap. Maybe the market was
100%. It was a boot trap.
Maybe the market was just slowly creeping upwards. Because, bro, this whole time we were talking about the market going up, and we're just like, I can't really understand. I say, like, we couldn't call a high top, but we could definitely see it's going to come back down at some point. I think, I saw Deji like 2 weeks ago. And who was it? I think my cousin said, I'm going to jump on this poly market bet. Bitcoin's going to go to 150K. And both of us just looked at each other like, there is no way Bitcoin is going up from here, bro. It is going down 100%. And then now, 60, or even, where did it bottom out at?
No, sorry to cut off. I was just going to ask, what gave him the confidence to sell that? What was his rationale?
It was a poly market. It's just 10x. It's just 10x.
It's just 10.
He makes 10x if he goes for yes.
Rick, it was 20x, I think.
Was it 20?
Yeah, 20x. Yeah, 20x. Something like that. Yeah.
But so the market right now, I'm looking at why, and bro, I just can't really see any strong explanation why the market has been suffering so much. But I think not the biggest, but one of the biggest hits was Solana, bro. Solana's back down to like $70 now. And you look at the price of ETH, and ETH is struggling as well. 1,700. Bro, among all of this, it's looking red. It's looking red for some really big players. How on earth is Hyperliquid still over $65, bro?
No, Hyperliquid is steroids, man. They need to look into that, man. They must have 2 books or something, fam.
Bro, even looking at something like Seeker, like I don't know if I mean, we won't have a seeker. I don't know if I think Deji staked your seeker. Harris, I don't know if you got yours, but even seeker, bro, as a token, seeker's actually doing all right. Like I'd have thought it'd have been close to zero by now. I think it's held relatively strong for the type of token that it is. But yeah, I reckon yeah, potentially the whole beef with Iran, I don't know, maybe that's a bit more calm now, and cryptos has gone back to like pre-Iran conflict lows. And yeah, traders saw that and they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take my money out of Bitcoin. Because all the other asset classes are still doing well. I see gold is still holding reasonably well. I think there's been some intraday gold was terrible today. If you caught that short, wonderful. I know some people that did. But yeah, bro, I am what do you might reckon?
Listen, man, I see man in Q4, innit? See man in Q4 because I've been telling man them. Obviously, you might not on the same page as me, but I've been telling everyone that's willing to listen that 4-year cycle is still intact and we're obviously in a bear market. And I'll keep repeating the same evidence I've been repeating. Started with stocks, yeah. Everyone knows stocks. How stocks has been doing. Stocks are moving crazy. Like SpaceX IPO is apparently valued currently at 1.35 trillion. Anthropic, OpenAI also have the IPO valued at 1 trillion. Like, look, stocks are dancing. Stocks are having a bull market, while BTC. By the way, all these markets are suggesting the same macro risk, which is obviously instability, geopolitical instability, in obviously with Iran, US, and their warring partners. But what stood out to me the most is stocks is largely ignoring the same macro risk, but crypto is reacting to it severely, and it's got me thinking. I think traders or investors are starting to price in more of a rate hike because talks of that has been happening obviously in UK where like they feel like back in England. I think I saw something recently that there was like a record breaking approval of mortgage application because obviously they anticipate there's going to be a rate hike soon, and it got me thinking, what are the Fed things to do? And then based on how crypto is obviously based on how crypto is obviously reacting, I thought like maybe there's time to price in a rate hike, not a rate cut in Q4 or something. But I've always said this. I think we bottom at the end of this year, which is obviously the post-halving year, sorry, the midterm year, and obviously smack right in the middle, just a little bit over 2 years that Trump has been in office. I think that's when we'll probably find the bottom of this market. I don't think this is the bottom. Obviously, what Ricardo said, some altcoins are performing phenomenal. Like BNB, obviously, we know why BNB is doing well. I can't explain it. Hype is doing well. And then, obviously, recently, Mia was doing well as well, but obviously now it's now being dragged down by obviously BTC not being seen as a safe investment vehicle right now, because if there's going to be a rate hike or there's going to be any kind of crash in the bonds market, the first thing that usually ends up being sold off is the assets that are obviously higher in the risk curve, which is obviously BTC and crypto. So I'm not surprised this happened at all. At the same time, I do feel like we're gonna get a rally. But again, which is also gonna make people thinking, yeah, we're back. This is it. This is Auckland season. And then when they get sold off again. So I think until I see that bottom in Q4, that's when I'll obviously start going all in. But right now, it's just taking swing trades and swinging long and swinging short, because I think that's probably the only way to play the market right now. Holding anything or DCAing is a little bit too early for me, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of opportunity to take trades in the market right now rather than investing long term, because I think there's still a bottom that's still being discovered yet. And then I think some of the macro risks are gonna, because think about it, right? If the market started reacting, we're like, the stock investors are basically, they're jubilant because obviously stocks are doing really well, especially tech stocks, software stocks, AI stocks, and crypto's not doing well. What happens when the S&P 500 corrects? I know for a fact crypto's going to get even further sell-off. So, yeah, more pain to come, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'll probably just reframe it and just so that we have an excellent opportunity. We have a very, very good opportunity in front of us. A lot of people, when they saw Bitcoin cross 100,000, 120,000, 125,000, they're like, no, it's too late. Bitcoin's too high. And that's where I see people playing the altcoin markets. But with everything coming down, we have a fantastic opportunity collectively to look at, underpriced assets and get in at a fantastic entry. Now, the question is, can you find those assets that, are going to bounce back in the next cycle? I mean, the obvious one is Bitcoin, which will definitely bounce back.
Let me ask, is ETH going to bounce back?
ETH is an interesting one. We'll come on to ETH shortly. But in terms of the ones that I'm confident of, is all of the altcoins that are performing well in the bear market. So Hypersuma, Nerium, BNB has done well through multiple cycles. So these are some of the assets that, look very strong. And on the flip side, when you have like Solana, looks very, very weak right now. And there isn't a fundamental case where you can maybe offset that and say, this is being built, so there's more longevity. And yeah, I think there's a lot more consolidation to come. So a lot of these A1 blockchains are, getting found out that, does it really matter if it's 1 billion transactions per second versus 700,000 versus 500,000 if not that many people are using it anyway? Not really. So a lot of the use cases are, just not playing out the way that they were being sold. So I think if you are just waiting by the sidelines and you have been and you have cash on the sidelines, now is the time to keep an eye out for some entries. Some people want to, put 100% of their cash in and have stops. We've seen that strategy in our Discord server. Other people want to, DCA from here down until, we reach the bottom. Other people are looking for key levels. And then, we'll dump a lot more crypto in when you reach that, key level. And ultimately, we can't predict exactly what's going to happen. Nobody can. But we can use the information and use history to try and predict what may happen in the future. So that would be sort of my take on it. And if you're a long-term investor like I am, now is a very, very exciting time to be in crypto. But yeah, I want to dive a bit more into some of those alts that we mentioned. So if we look at Hype and Near, they are 5.8% and 19.5% respectively. After Arthur Hayes disclosed that he was selling a position in both products. So Arthur Hayes recently said he's selling all of his Hype and all of his Near after championing them maybe a few weeks back publicly. And he said he's going to write an essay to explain why. But if you even take him out of the equation, do you think now is the time, if you've been trading these types of altcoins, to sort of jump out and sit down on the sidelines? Or is like volatility the perfect conditions for somebody that's trading these types of tokens?
Bro, to be honest, Hype and Net being some of the strongest coins out of the top 100 or top 50 to do really well over the last few weeks is, I don't know, it was kind of unexpected. I think, obviously, if you were looking at the charts and you're looking at the data, it was clear that there were outliers from probably at least 100% ago for Near, and at least 80% ago for Hype. But that is a big move, bro. That is a big move in a bear market. So to say you've had that type of move and now you want to get out of the token for whatever reason, and I'm sure he's going to have some real strong reasons, then, bro, I back it. I think Near's gone up too much and the people that are left in are too greedy, and they should just jump out based on the fact that they've done 100+% over the last few weeks, bro. I feel like the man them that are in crypto, the crypto donnies, they just want 100% or a 10x and then another 10x and then another 10x. But like when you really look at the market conditions and you look economically and you look at the whole world economy, bro, to get 100% in an asset that's relatively liquid right now, this year is insane. And I reckon man them should stop being greedy and jump out. I'm not saying it doesn't have space to grow. Potentially it does, but looking at the entire market, there's more of a downside risk than an upside risk from here. And yeah, they've done really well. And obviously there's more money in the world. Like, you know, we have other markets that are doing particularly well, and money could come from those other markets into crypto. And they're probably going to go in the biggest gainers over the year, i.e. your hypes and your nares, and potentially Bitcoin because it's the biggest by market cap. But ultimately, I think if you've had your gains, if you've had your 100+ gains, 100% plus gains on those two tokens, you just got to take it and walk at this point, because the market will flip, and it will flip aggressively. Like I'm thinking about a year and a half ago when Sui was going crazy, bro. Sui went from like sub $1 to like $4.5, $5. And yeah, there were other tokens that were going crazy as well, but this was like a really big cap token that was just blowing everything out the water. Where is it at now, bro? I think it's down like 20 or 30% over the last few weeks. So yeah, and I know man them that are still holding on, bought from $4 and are still holding on like losers, even though I've told them to sell it because it's just got no more hype around it. But yeah, man, I reckon if he thinks he's getting out, I mean, it sounds like he wants to get out early. I'll be looking forward to reading this essay because he's a very smart guy and he's been in the space for a minute. So yeah, I'll see what he's got to say.
Yeah. Well, whose report is this? Harris?
Arthur is.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah. I read this morning. I was in the gym, was banging out weights, and then I saw Arthur A's exit is hyper near position because he thinks it's going to be more downside. And lo and behold, it started. But I think he already saw the weakness clear as day. But I mean, I have to say though, it has been impressive. Not incredible, impressive that Nia is able to rally that much. Nia is always one of my favorite AI plays. Data centric L1 solution. It didn't rally as much as I thought it would rally this cycle, but like I said about all the other Dana tokens. But I think obviously previous cycle, that's what it really enjoys, blew off top, which is decent. But no, you look at tokens like Near, BNB, Hype, they obviously tell you that, you know, we're here. And because like I said, Harris, whenever you see a token doing bits in a bear market, it usually shows those are the kind of tokens you want to keep an eye on going into the next cycle. And personally for me, like I'm quite confident that those tokens will still be here in the next cycle, regardless of whatever company goes bust this cycle or whatever crazy stuff we uncovered towards the end of the cycle. But what's concerning though is that a lot of the tokens that was being hyped over the top before we had obviously the bear market started, Shui has been very disappointing. Like it's just been non-stop getting crushed. Zero support inside. Just today it's down already 10%. And it's concerning. And then obviously, like we said, a few selective tokens had a low rally. Sui was not one of them. I think Sui probably rallied 5%. And I think it's concerning. I think, we have these guys that Ravi on crypto raving them at Sui, telling them Sui is the new thing. It's opposition Sui. He's not obviously trying to shill it, but at the same time, he's shilling it. And obviously, I like Sui too. I mean, I thought, for me, I thought there will be another one of the big players going to the next cycle, but now I'm not so sure. Like, I'm not sure. And obviously, don't get me started about other tokens that are not doing nothing. ETH. It's just one of those cycles. I feel like, remember I already told you, it's get to the point where like the Ethereum Foundation, prioritizing business. and Vitalik not have as much impact as he did before. Like you said with Marcus Preston, Elon Musk activity, not obviously not regarding meme coin. It just feels like, I mean, well, what's the point of Marcus saying about somebody supplanting ETH mechanization? Because I think it's not impossible. Don't tell me it's impossible. Like it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. So I think I'll keep looking at keep an eye on tokens that are showing strength in this market, because I think those kind of tokens that we should keep an eye on moving forward. But I mean, ETH will be a next cycle, but I just feel like I said it before. I posted last week. Never mentioned the pod that I think Ricardo, you want to hear? Yeah, this year the Grinder another gay app called Grinder has outperformed ETH in the same time span this year. So you could have been holding a Grinder stock portfolio, and it will outperform your ETH portfolio. That is crazy to me. So I think next cycle, if you don't hear,
Is it you know? Is it?
Like, come on, bro, a dating app, fam, the dating app.
No, but think about it. First of all, why for that? But moving on from that, bro, like, just as you described, all of the AI companies, mad valuations. I don't know if you might have seen CrowdStrike, mad increase. I opened a JISA, a junior ISA for both of my sons. One of them, I jumped into CrowdStrike. Bro, that thing is outperforming my regular portfolio, bro. Bro, tech stocks are just booming, and essentially that is basically a tech stock. Whereas you have Ethereum on the other hand. Ethereum is like, you know that 6 out of 10 with like potential to be a 10, bro. But she's just looking raggedy every day.
But I hear you, but I feel like ETH should be performing like a tech stock though, even more than, because Bitcoin is a store of value. Ethereum is a programmable blockchain. It should be behaving like stock, but for some reason it's not. And it's not because, and normally I would say, okay, it's because the founder is not that present, the founder is not likable, or they keep selling too much stuff. It's not that. ETH could sell another 100 mil Ethereum, and then I won't be like, oh, it's a fire sale on ETH, but there's something wrong. I don't know if it's market share go to other things like meme coin, hype, and other tokens, but there's just something going on with Ethereum. Like, I just not seeing it. Because, listen, ask ETH maxis. They think Ethereum is better than Bitcoin, and obviously I don't believe that. But it's not. I mean, you will find another crazier, other than XRP, crazier maxis than ETH. And slowly they're just going underground. They're not showing up. They didn't show up this cycle. They did not.
The ETH maxis are going into Pokemon cards, man.
No, I know essentially. A lot of these ETH maxis are have defected. At the beginning of the cycle, when Solana was really, really strong and it was showing a lot of growth and a lot of activity, a lot of them were sort of moving towards Solana and other things. And I think the narrative for ETH, because it's not the only blockchain that can do that, and there's arguably better ones. So I think the narrative hasn't evolved. Whereas Bitcoin has had an evolution in terms of its narrative, and it's managed to sustain. But the narrative for ETH has always been sort of programmatical blockchain, which allows you to build on top of it and stuff like that. But that's like the default now. So what else can the ETH do? And obviously it's got the branding and stuff like that, and a lot of institutions like Ethereum. I think that's one thing that it does have going for it more than a lot of other blockchains. But yeah, I think ETH is now at a crossroads, and if it's not careful, it could easily get surpassed by something else, whether it's something that's on the market right now or something that comes on the market in the next bull or this current bear. So yeah, there needs to be some change. And also the one other thing before you jump into Diddy is that maybe you guys can shed a bit more light on it because you're actual developers. But I think of all of the things that I've seen, Solana seems to be like the most developer friendly, and ETH is not as developer friendly as, say, Solana, for example. So that's somewhere else where they can maybe improve.
I mean, it's developer friendly and it's still the first and it's still the easiest thing to write anything on and it still has the most amount of. Well, actually, I haven't checked recently, but I believe it.
No, Solana has more dev for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. People feel like
How many more are draining? That's the real question. Is it the fastest growing?
growth wise, Solana developers are growing more than Ethereum developers. And for some reason, even with this ETF play, it's just become the go-to for institutions. Like, you know what I mean? It's more like, let's say now, us three man get together, want to build a startup. The first step will be to go and do an ETH. It will be Solana. Even though we think Solana, we don't risk Solana. We think Solana's a flash casino. You know what I mean? For some reason, when you say, cool, let's do this, let's build this thing, you won't say ETH. You say Sol first. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There definitely wouldn't be ETH. Sol at this point in time would be in the conversation, but I don't even say that's a sure banker. But it definitely wouldn't be ETH, in my opinion, anyway. Which is if you can't capture that value from other applications built on top of it, and if we're having that conversation here, then that doesn't present a good case long term for Ethereum.
Biggest word of warning to ETH is that maybe they're resting their laurels. Maybe they think they're gonna be here forever, but nothing's ever permanent, even for BTC as well. Because I've seen big giants crumble. Like you might remember Dropbox. Dropbox happened before Google Cloud, before OneDrive, and then now they're just obsolete, useless. They're in the AI race. You know what I mean? Like you could be a giant and still collapse one day. And I feel like ETH is in that weird law, and I need to see more go in the next cycle because I think a lot of people were burnt this cycle. Just chat to Tom Lee. When he woke up this morning, down even further than he was down before. So, what a caution to ETH, man. They need to get it together. Because you can't let hype be the new cool kid on the block and just dominate everything. You just can't do that. You know what I mean? And I know you're talking about just being relevant. Like, not just, because they're new, whatever. Just being relevant. Like, there used to be so many ETH hackathon. Now they decreased that too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Something weird is going on. And maybe you'll catch some traction. We'll see what's going on. But, hey, just a word of warning.
So, that's true. But something else that may need a word of warning is MicroStrategy, because it is now facing the biggest unrealized loss in history at minus $10.8 billion. So in other words, after 6 years of buying Bitcoin, the company is now down 17% on its position. And by comparison, the S&P 500 is up 116% over the same time frame. So since Strategy sold 32 Bitcoin, which he did recently, the position has lost $11.8 billion in value. And what does that really mean? Well, if we go into it, the flywheel can effectively break. You got a number of different things. You got the dividend drain. So Strategy owes $1.7 billion a year in dividend payments that he just can't miss, and obviously has a duty to those holding its stock. Then we have the Strategy stock, which trades at $94.65, which is under the $100 par. So that means obviously that underwater. And then we have cash calls. So obviously, how did it get all of its Bitcoin? It buried most of the money. So bondholders can demand $4.5 billion back, and they want it back in cash, not stock, obviously. And there's numbers that we won't necessarily go into right now. So Bitcoin being at this level is dangerous for MicroStrategy, and if they're forced to sell, as we've said many times, but now we're in not theoretical territory, now we're in real territory where this could actually be the case. What do you think happens? From here.
If MicroStrategy sell like a large chunk of their Bitcoin holdings, we are finished, bro.
Finished.
Crypto, bro.
Are we really though? His holding is worth 60 to this price is worth $60 billion.
All right, so and I'm sure he won't sell the whole 60 billion, but I'm just thinking through this. I'm just like, bro, in any market, you need to have a bigger fall. So far, Master has been a pretty big fall. They've been buying every week, bro. They've been buying every week. Holding price stable, and like people say, like when MicroStrategy buy crypto, you know, the price doesn't pump. Yeah, the price doesn't pump, but the price doesn't fall off a cliff. Like they hold the market less volatile the more buys that they do, which is great. If they decide they wanted to sell a bunch of tokens, bro, which I can't imagine they would, because Michael Saylor sounds like he wants to take this to his grave. The market would just trend downwards, bro. But at the same time, if they're forced because they have to, different story. But put all of that aside, right now sounds like a wonderful time to short strategy. Like, I don't mean like a regular short. I mean like, you man seen Big Short, yeah?
Yeah.
Where my man went into the red. He was shorting the, what was it, the housing market in the US. Like, that guy was in the red for time, and he was in the red for billions, and I can't remember his name.
Michael Bowie.
Yeah. He was in the red for time. Bro, I reckon, yeah, like, just think about all the weird little building blocks. I reckon, and we're long-term crypto, but I don't think I'm long-term strategy. Like, if your sole aim of your company is buying crypto, and that is supposed to facilitate your books, your balances, your profits, your loss, your capex, everything, is just buying Bitcoin. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I reckon a catastrophic short needs to hit. And judging by the fact that we're all saying that, like, we're seeing the market trend downwards and we're waiting until Q4, and in my mind the market will bottom out in October. I would love, bro, to slap a short on strategy. Cause yeah, I just can't see them doing particularly. Yeah, if they lose it, if they lose the whole, you know, if they have to sell and they have to continually sell, bro, the company's finished. I can't see that. I can't see Michael Saylor do anything to save this. And obviously he's got his own holdings and he's still got a massive Bitcoin holding. But yeah, bro, that would just be the end. I feel like it will be potentially the same as like a FTX wipeout, except less people will be annoyed because obviously their money won't be stolen. It would just be lost to the market, which is the same but different. What do you man reckon?
So you're calling it a Ponzi, yeah?
The way how strategies buying Bitcoin is 100% a Ponzi. I mean, crypto is a Ponzi scheme. You just have to be the right side of the Ponzi scheme. So is the bond market. So are the stocks market. Everything's a Ponzi. You just have to choose your Ponzi, bro.
My guy said everything's a Ponzi. You just gotta choose your own Ponzi. Here, that's the saying of the day, fam. Listen, but thinking that we're laughing, it's truth. But for me, what's been more glaring, and one of the reasons why I know when a bear market is I'm now starting to see that MicroStrategy is finding it harder and harder to raise more funds. You know what I mean? Periodically, it used to be every single week you will be in the 100 millions, and even sometimes he bought billions for the BTC, and I was like, how is this guy doing it? How is he raising more conversion notes, convertible bond notes? How is he doing it? And obviously, as the market has obviously rate hikes, as the rate kind of stalled out, there wasn't no more rate hikes. BTC kids get repriced down low to lower levels. It becomes harder and harder to convince your investors, your bond issuers to obviously give you more money. So you have to get clever with your books, and obviously if you ask MicroStrategy, he will tell you it wouldn't, that his liquidation price is 4,000 or something. But I think liquidation prices are higher than that. I don't think it's 4,000. I think it's more like, because even though he still owns majority of the voting power in MicroStrategy, there are ways for him to get voted out of his own sitting board. You know what I mean? And then he never wants to be on the wrong end of that. I think personally, if he keeps raising more and more debt, I mean, I would love to see what the PCI ratio is for strategy. If you keep raising more debt compared to revenue, because now he's down 10 billion, it's not the end of the world, but 10 billion is a lot of money. I'm not trying to say it's not, but you still got a hold of 50. Even if, let's say, BTC go down to 50K, that's probably another, 5 billion losses? A lot, but I think what is not what he's not gonna sit well with his shareholders or his board members is when the debt gets to 20 plus minus, and then it gets to minus 20 billion. I think that's when you start hearing a lot more pushback on you need to sell, and then even though he doesn't want to sell, it's going to be forced to sell because he doesn't want to have a situation where there's a hostile takeover and then he loses control of his company. He doesn't want that smoke. So I think it's a situation where, like, it's not looking good for strategy at all. And my conservative estimation that is we're going to see 49 to 50K in this next, maybe not in this correction, but in one that follows when the S&P 500 corrects. And I could be wrong. We could go lower. I don't know. I'm just speculating. We could go lower. We could go, you know what I mean? I'm thinking the last previous top we had in the Brenner cycles where we probably found bottom their cycle, but could be wrong. I could be wrong. Could be off for Gazzy. He could go down to 40K, 45K. And no matter, I just hope he's prepared. But watch how much he's buying on a weekly basis now. It's not the same as it used to be. And then it's clear that like, there's obviously these investors are seeing weakness in the market and not willing to dollar ever further funds because there could be a potential point in time where like, they actually have to call their funds back and force them to liquidate some tokens and some BTC to pay his debt. So it's one to keep an eye on. Definitely one to. I know for fact strategies on every VC and hedge funds watch list because it's looking right for sure. And then it all depends on what BTC does now. I think we'll probably get a relief rally around 61K, 60K. I don't think we go straight to 50K. But what I'm saying is I hope it's got a plan. I hope it's got deep cash pockets because them man are looking to call in their funds, man. They're coming.
Let me ask you both a question. One word answer. Is that a price at which you would buy strategy at, Rick?
Buy.
I thought you were going to say short. I thought you said short, fam. You know what it is here? One of the reasons why I feel like it's not looking good for strategy is always like, what's the point in investing in? Because the world made strategy awesome before is that there was a huge premium between BTC and and his stock. So he was able to kind of manipulate the arbitrage. But when that premium disappeared, it got hard and hard for him to raise money. And then obviously you can see his buying has gone down. As an investor, even if I'm a billionaire, why would I go buy MicroStrategy stock when I could just go buy ETF, BlackRock's ETF, or buy BTC directly? Even if I don't want a kerfuffle of managing my own private keys, there's a better alternative that's actually priced the BTC movement. So it's like, that's one of the reasons why I feel like they're losing the uniqueness as well. And I feel like if the debt keeps climbing, it's not just liquidation price you have to worry about. There's other things that you can lose his company if he's not careful.
No, definitely. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.